Hey, y'all. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Let's Mom Bitch. I am your host, Alonda, and I'm so happy you chose to tune in today. This is episode number 25, Mom versus Mom. How was your week? Mine has been, it's had its ups and downs, I should say. Um, well, first of all, this episode is late. It was supposed to be out yesterday on Friday. However, I ended up picking up a shift at work last night for some extra hours, and then Nyla hadn't been feeling well. We thought that she was teething, but come to find out, she has hand, foot, and mouth again. Now, if y'all remember one of my earlier episodes, I was talking about that when she had it. I'm so frustrated because we had pulled her out of daycare because she was getting sick all the time. Now, I wasn't naive to think that by her not being in daycare that she wouldn't get sick at all, but I didn't think she would get hand, foot, and mouth. Like she's not really around kids. We go to my son's football games, that's outside. We go to his practice, that's outside. I mean, the only thing I can think of is she picked it up when we went in like grocery stores or I had to take Tristan to urgent care also this week, so it could have been urgent care. I don't know, but I know that when I was thinking that she was teething, I went to go put some oil gel in her mouth because she was fussy, and then she was slobbing from her mouth, and I wasn't thinking of hand, foot, and mouth. I went to put the oil gel, the teething gel in her mouth, and I saw a couple of sores. So when I got off of work this morning, I took her to urgent care, and sure enough, she had hand, foot, and mouth. And it makes me so sad. Like, I've worked in a doctor's office, a pediatrics office, y'all know that. And I would see hand, foot, and mouth all the time. And it would be mostly like the cases that I saw was mostly on the kids, like outside of their mouth and their body. And the kids didn't really seem too bothered by it. But every time Nyla gets it, she always gets it in her mouth. And this time it's worse than what it was before, because before she had like maybe two or three lesions that I could see in there. I don't want to say legion sores that I could see in there, but this time, and especially since last night, those sores have multiplied, and she's in a great deal of pain. So we've been alternating the Motrin and the Tylenol, and that's really all you can do because it's a virus. So, I mean, it just frustrates me. It's like, do I keep her isolated in the house? Like, I just can't believe that she got something like hand, foot, and mouth, and she's not even in daycare anymore. So I don't know. Y'all pray for her and us so we can get through this week or however long it takes for her to start feeling better. Um, a few days prior, I had to take Tristan to the same urgent care because in last Saturday's football game, he apparently rolled his ankle. Now, Tristan's older, so with him, if he tells me something's wrong and it doesn't seem very serious, I'm not going to, like, because I'm a nurse, I'm not going to immediately take them to the doctor, especially if it's something like I basically know what they're going to do and know what they're going to check. But if it's something that I feel like is real serious, of course I'm going to take them to the doctor or the ER or whatever I have to do. So the first day he told me about it, I'm like, he's said his ankle hurt before. The next day it was fine, so I'm not going to worry about it. Then Monday came around and he was having trouble walking, so I let him stay home from school. Tuesday, it didn't get better, so I let him stay home from school. And finally, was it Wednesday? Wednesday, I took him to urgent care, and they did an x-ray. The x-ray came back normal, but because of his age and because he was still in pain, they gave us a referral to go see ortho. So he does have an appointment with ortho next week. However, as of yesterday, he was able to, well, Thursday evening, he started putting more pressure down on his foot, and he's been walking good ever since and not complaining about pain. So he may not need to see ortho, but I'm still going to take him, and he is going to go back to football on Monday for practice. And the doctor was just suggesting that he keeps that ankle wrapped up, just because whatever he did to it, you just want to make sure it's protected. So 2 kids in urgent care this week. Here's another thing, was exposed to COVID this week at work. Yeah, that's all I can really say about that. Was exposed to COVID. As soon as I found out, I still have some of those at-home tests that you could get for free in the mail. So I took one of those and it was negative. I'm not experiencing any symptoms. The person that I was exposed to, they didn't have any real severe symptoms, but they actually was prescribed with. I know you all probably heard that some pharmaceutical companies had started creating like an antiviral medication that could help with some of the symptoms from COVID. And I know for a while some doctors were skeptical about providing it or prescribing it, but this person was prescribed with the antiviral, and I don't know if that has anything to do with how good their recovery has been, but they definitely didn't have very bad symptoms after it was caught. You could tell something was wrong with them, and then once they found out they had COVID and was on that medication, they rapidly improved. So, hey, it may be something to it. Doctors might start prescribing it a little bit more. I'm assuming for people that can afford it. I don't know if insurance is, I don't know if how expensive it would be to pay out of pocket for it, but I would imagine it would be very expensive, being that you know how the pharmaceutical companies are, and it's a new drug, I believe. Don't hold me to that though. What else? I said that I picked up an extra shift, so that meant an extra 10 hours. I'm already working 50 hours a week, like scheduled 50 hours a week. It originally was 40 hours a week. And then the family that I'm working for, they needed some more help. And this is the time of year that Shay's work slows down because he's in landscaping. So he's not working every day or as many hours as he usually works. So since my work schedule is when Shay and the kids are asleep, I went ahead and picked up a shift. So this week, my crazy ass worked 60 hours. And I'm not extremely tired. I do get my rest in at different periods throughout the day, but I don't know how many times I'm going to be working 60-hour weeks. um I think that's all of my dealings for the week. I do want to talk a little bit about the holidays. I know last episode we did the great holiday debate, and I was talking about how I love the holidays. And I've said this before, I really love the holidays. I also love entertaining. Like, I like to host like parties, get-togethers, and that. Excuse me. And I haven't really been able to do that for a while because the place that we live in is pretty small, and I'm newer to Georgia. I've been here a couple years now, but I'm just now starting to build some friendships. So I haven't done a whole lot of entertaining. I guess the wedding reception was entertaining, my big entertaining for this year. But anyway, I usually host an annual Friendsmas celebration. It's usually all girls, and we play games, drink, eat, have a gift, do a gift exchange type situation. And I didn't get to host it last year because I had Nyla, and I was trying, about this time last year we were still trying to get finances right since having the baby. And I had just started working again that August. So I decided not to have it last year, but this year I'm bringing it back, and I am so excited about it. I have some, of course, my people from South Carolina that can make it. They're gonna come, and then a couple people that came to my last one, because the last one I had was my first one in Georgia. And then it's going to be some new faces because I met people in the mommy group and in friends group on Facebook. So, and I have uh, new family members now that I'm married. So it should be a good variety of people. I got an Airbnb for the occasion. It's huge. So, if anybody drink too much, they can stay the night and all that. So I look forward to being able to host Friendsmas this year. I'll definitely keep y'all posted and let y'all get some pictures of the food and the games and all that stuff. We might not be dressed appropriately for pictures of us because it's a girls' night, so it may be some sexy PJs and lingerie or whatever. I don't know what my theme. I do know what my theme is going to be, so that's probably it. But you know, it's one of those things where what goes on at Friendsmas stays at Friendsmas. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I just mean it's going to be all ladies, and some, ladies may not want what they have on posted. That's all I'll say about that. So, yeah, I look forward to doing that. Let's get into the Facebook group topics. I'll be finding different conversations and debates in these different groups. And this one group that I'm in, this lady had posted, and she said that her boyfriend, the father of her children, told her that he was leaving them to get himself together and that he's not going to be able to help her with the kids for a very long time. I just, what kills me? First of all, let me try to. The sun just came back in abundance, so I can't see the screen, and I probably look like a bright light to y'all. I'm gonna pause for a second, y'all. All right, for those of you listening on Spotify or whatever streaming platform, this is being recorded for YouTube as well. So, yeah. Check it out on YouTube. But anyway, like I was saying, so the man told her that he was leaving to better himself and he wouldn't be able to help with the kids for a very long time. And I just be feeling like, how dare these dudes just think that they can come and go as they please and not provide for their children whenever they don't want to provide for their children. Like, these are your children. It is not just the mom's responsibility just because we gave birth to the child. You're clearly, it's multiple children because she said her children, the father of her children, and clearly they've been living together. How do you just out the blue say you leaving to get yourself together and you're not going to be able to help for a very long time? That should just sound suspect to me. It sounds ignorant, dumb as fuck. Like I said, you know what I would have told him? All right, bye. But if you think that you about to walk out of here and not provide for these kids, you got another thing coming. Be on the lookout for that child support order. And y'all know me. I said in a previous episode, I'm not one of the women that's pressed about child support. Um, Now, don't get me wrong, and I've said this before, you deserve to get your child support. If you have a child with somebody and they're not doing their part, by all means, if you feel like you want to go down there to that court and back and forth to that court and get that child support because you want it and you need it and your kids deserve it, then so be it. I just personally, for the position that I'm in my life right now, I personally don't feel like going back and forth to court, and I don't feel like chasing a man down to provide for your child. But what you're not gonna do is be running in and out of my child's life. You either gonna be in or out. We're not about to continue to do that. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I generally wouldn't file child support, but in that case, I would. You're not gonna be sleeping next to me every night and just wake up one morning and say you gone and you ain't about to do shit. Fuck that. I'm filing child support and I'm going down there like them chicks be doing every week, complaining about how the child support ain't enough and how I need an increase. And I'm gonna make sure they give you hell because you just came at me with some nut ass shit like that. That's ridiculous. Um, Another thing I saw on social media, this young lady had posted that she cut her best friend off because the best friend was cheating on her boyfriend or had cheated on her boyfriend. And she felt like if she was going to be unloyal to her boyfriend, what should she think she should be to her? And I'm a little on the fence about my opinion for this because number one, we're talking your best friend. Like your best friend is supposed to be ride or die, but some people use that term loosely. Um, you really shouldn't be calling somebody your best friend if y'all not invested in each other. And a best friend is just not going to cut you off um, because you made a mistake or because you did something that he or she didn't agree with. So I'm thinking this maybe the other girl was her best friend, but she wasn't really her best friend. And y'all know I be thinking a little bit crazy too. Like maybe she want to mess with the boyfriend because how you just basically take the boyfriend side and say I'm not about to be her friend anymore because she's cheating on the boyfriend. And then the other key word for me is boyfriend. Like this ain't her damn husband. I mean, I know there was this guy that posted. It was this guy that posted a while ago. It had went viral, and he was just talking shit about his homeboy and how he told him about himself because he was in the club trying to fuck with some girls and he was married, and he was telling him, he's talking about how he spent all that money on, you know, the bachelorette party and the tux and all that stuff, and then you're gonna be out there cheating. Like, don't do that in front of me. But he didn't say that he cut him off. He just was talking shit about the boy, like, don't do that shit. You out there cheating. And, you know, everybody, it was some controversy behind it because they like, dang, he just put his homeboy out there like that. I mean, granted, he didn't say anybody's names, but if anybody, the video went viral, and if the wife see it, she gonna know, probably know who the fuck you talking about. So at least in that situation, I could say that probably was a best friend. But this girl, I don't know. Like, I could understand you wanting loyal people around you, but I just feel like that was a little too extreme. I don't know. It has to be a backstory for me. I know I'll probably never get any update about that, but she might be fucking with the boyfriend. I don't know. It just sounds a little suspect. But y'all know I like to hear y'all feedback. So you can send me an email at letsmom.b.podcast@gmail.com. You can send me a DM on Instagram at Let's Mom Bitch. You can leave a comment at Let's Mom Bitch on YouTube. And what did I forget? I also have a Facebook page that it's not too much activity on it right now, but if y'all come on there and leave some comments and start some conversations, it will be. So that's Let's Mom Bitch as well on Facebook. What else do I have for you all? Oh, this controversy about Jay-Z not loaning his cousin $4,800. Apparently, he was discussing this with Kevin Hart on his talk show, and the cousin was trying to do some business venture. You know, don't quote me on this because I didn't actually see the show, but you know, I heard it just like everybody else did. But the cousin was trying to do some business venture. He asked for the $4,800. He told him he was going to get him $2 million back. Right there, that's a red flag for me because you talking to a billionaire, a businessman, or a multimillionaire. Did Jay-Z make billionaire yet? I think he is. Anyway, um, that's a very high evaluation that if I give you $4,800, you're gonna bring me back 2 million. Like, you don't know that. I don't know what type of business he was gonna do. And if he felt like he could make 2 million, why you had to go to Jay-Z for the 4,800, I don't know. But people is really talking bad about Jay-Z because he got all this money and he didn't loan his cousin $4,800. But y'all know what? That's Jay-Z money. It wouldn't matter whether he had a regular job and was doing good for himself or whether he's the person he is now. That's his money. He don't have to loan nobody no money. 9 times out of 10, the people not gonna pay you back, especially a situation like that. And then you don't know the backstory. That's his family. He know them people. He might know that side of the family and know that that dude does not follow through with what his plans be. So he just decided not to loan that cousin the money, and he didn't want more. He probably didn't want more cousins or more people coming up. Well, let me get 5,000 for this. Oh, let me help me start my hair salon. Help me do this. That's just a lot. People start coming out the woodworks once you give one person something, or that same person just keep coming back, and coming back. So I understand. Stop counting that man dollars. That's his money, and he don't have to loan it to anybody. We're going to pause for the cause. All right, y'all. I had to go get me a jacket and a drink. It is chilly. It is such a pretty day out, but it is so chilly. Let me see what the temperature is. I mean, I'm not for the cold now. I don't want it to be too hot either, but this is not the perfect temperature for me. The only thing that I do like is the mosquitoes aren't out because it's so chilly. But it's 67 degrees, but it's a cold 67. Maybe it's because I'm in the shade. And my husband sent me a crazy ass text that I'm not going to share with y'all. All right. So we spoke about the crazy dude that left his family to better himself. What else I got for y'all? Oh, Jay-Z, we talked about that. Cash Doll. So Cash Doll made a comment. I think it was a Twitter. She made a post on Twitter, and she said that threesomes are for cheaters, cheating men, and insecure women. And I have to disagree with Cash Doll. Now, I like Cash Doll. I couldn't say that I've heard a whole Cash Doll album. But if I'm not mistaken, a lot of her songs talk about fucking dudes for money or getting money from dudes. You know, most of the shit that a lot of female rappers talk about. Isn't that sleeping with men for money worse than having a threesome with your man? I don't know. That's just my opinion, but I have to disagree with her. I feel like to each his own. You know, some people do things to spice up the relationship. Hey, sometimes it be the woman that be wanting the threesome and not the man. So you can't say it's for cheating men. And I have to say that, like, I feel like an insecure woman would be the one that would stray away from the threesome, not have one. So I have to disagree with her. And then she has some very famous counterparts that would disagree with her. Kandi Burruss, she's definitely not insecure. She doesn't appear to be. Her and her husband are very vocal about having threesomes. Of course, we don't know whether Todd's out there cheating, but I know nothing has been put out there that he has been. So I would like to say that he's probably not cheating, and they're happily married, and they have threesomes, and nobody's insecure, nobody's cheating. And now, on the other hand, we have T.I. and Tiny, who T.I. is a known cheater, but him and Tiny has been together for years. They've been married for years. They seem to be overall happy, most of the time, and they have been vocal about having threesomes as well. So, like I said, I feel like to each his own. For everything is not for everybody. And I feel like everybody has a right to their opinions. Like just now, right now, I'm giving my opinion on the topic, but I feel like I don't like how women tend to tear down other women in their opinions. Um, like for example, it's common for women to call other women insecure when they don't agree with what that woman is doing. You know what I'm saying? Calling side chicks insecure. I feel like again, I don't think that you can be an insecure side chick. You know what I'm saying? I think you have to be pretty confident of a woman to go after a man that's taken. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just feel like us as women, we should be mindful of our opinions about other women because you never know what somebody's situation is or what they got going on. And, you know, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has them. So I don't know, but I don't agree with Cash Doll's comments. I think that was very far fetched, and I don't know what triggered it. Maybe her man was trying to get her to have a threesome, and she got pissed about it, so she posted that. So I don't know. What else, y'all? Several episodes back, I was telling about the story about the former Baltimore police officer whose wife shot him because parents had came forth and accused him of molesting their children, and she owned a daycare, so it was children that was from her daycare, and her and her husband got into it. She shot him, and then she had recently been convicted for shooting him, and she is serving 4 years in prison. Well, he didn't die. He was arrested for these sexual assault, molestation, rape charges, whatever it was, and he was in prison. But he recently was granted permission to await trial on home detention. And I actually think that's pretty fucked up. I think it's pretty fucked up that his wife is serving time for shooting your nasty ass. And you get to be home chilling after you've been accused of molesting these children. Now, you're innocent until proven guilty. I get it. But still, that's a very serious accusation. And I believe it was like 13 kids or 13 parents came forth about their children. And then the position that you had in the community, you were a police officer in that community. So I just really feel like you shouldn't be sitting at home. You need to sit in that prison and await your trial. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. I think that's messed up. And then wow, his wife is sitting in prison because you betrayed her and she found out that you're possibly a disgusting motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that whole situation is terrible. Prayers up to the families and those children. If that man did do that, I hope that he is convicted of those crimes and he serves the time for it. So on last week's episode, I was telling you all about how I was disappointed in my wedding cake, how I felt like they didn't put any care into it, how it was very sloppy, and how disappointed I was because I usually enjoy Publix cakes and the flavor was not a problem. It was still delicious as usual, but this is the wedding cake. This is the focal point. This is on display at the wedding. There's a whole portion of the reception where you're cutting the cake and, you know, feeding it to each other. And while that's going on, everybody's looking at your cake. And I've even had a couple of guests comment that Publix was wrong for how that cake looked. And that's even more embarrassing to have your guests know how bad your cake looks. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up contacting Publix customer service, and they escalated the issue. And guess what? Our cake was free. We were issued a full refund for the cake. I was so happy about that. I really had a bad taste in my mouth about Publix, and I probably wasn't going to purchase another cake from them. But now that they rectified the situation, I may still give them my business. It probably won't be that bakery. That was the first time I used that particular Publix location. I'm not going to put that location out there, but I'm gonna go back to my neighborhood. The only reason why I used that location, it was because the venue for the reception was about a 30-minute drive from where we stay. And we have a Publix right in our area, but I just figured since they were gonna be delivering the cake, I should get it delivered from a Publix that was close to the venue. So um yeah, I won't go back to that one, but I appreciate the refund, and maybe you get to do another cake in the future. All right, y'all. Well, let's get into the topic of today. I don't plan to hold you all long today. This is going to probably be one of my shorter episodes, but the title of the episode is Mom versus Mom. And the reason why that's the title is I was scrolling on Facebook as usual, and in one of the groups I'm in, it was this post, and I don't know what it said word for word. I usually screenshot it, but I didn't do it this time. But it said something along the lines of moms who get frequent breaks from their children, it's either they are not the same or does not have the same struggle as moms who don't get breaks from the children. However it was worded, I was kind of offended because it made it seem like if we can get out the house for a little bit, our motherhood journey is not as serious. I don't know. And maybe I'm reading into it wrong, but I don't know. But that's what triggered the episode. I had a different title for the episode, but it wasn't what I wanted to really talk about. But I just wanted to speak on that for a minute. So I've experienced both situations. When I had Tristan, well, kind of. When I had Tristan, I didn't have much support from people because, you know, like I said, I'm originally from Pennsylvania. So all my family is up there. My mom's up there. And I was in South Carolina. And the only people I had around was like the people that I met in South Carolina and, you know, my son's father and his family, where his family didn't help out with Tristan. He didn't help out with Tristan much. He was always on the go. Now Tristan's mama and papa, they would watch him anytime I needed them to watch him, but because they was watching him while I worked and while I was in school, I didn't want to also leave him with them too often to do, you know, extracurricular activities, because when do I see my child? You know what I'm saying? I already felt bad. I already had a great deal of mommy guilt that I had to leave him so much to work and go to school, because that took a good bit of my time. But if I wanted to have some breaks, like to go out or to have lunch with somebody or whatever the case may be, you know, I didn't take too many of those opportunities because I was already away from my child so much. So then with Nyla, you know, I'm with her father, we're married. And he doesn't have a problem with me going out from time to time and going to lunch with friends and different events or whatever. And he's home with her and Tristan while I do that. So now I can have frequent breaks from them and not have to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? But does that make my struggle as a mother, my journey as a mother, less than somebody who says that they can never get away from their children? No, because I have a different living situation or struggle or different things that I deal with in being a mother than you do. And it could be the same on the same level. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's pros and cons to both situations. The con for your situation is you don't get to have me time. Um, or it's rare that you get to have me time. But the pro is you're not missing any moments of your children's lives. You're not missing their first steps, their first words. They're like, I feel like I don't know anything that Tristan ever did because when he was in those, tender ages, I wasn't there. I wasn't there like 24/7. You know what I mean? I felt like I saw his first steps, maybe. But like I said, I worked, I went to school to become a nurse because I knew that the little jobs that I had prior to getting pregnant with him was not going to cut it. Me and his father was doing bad, prior to him, prior to Tristan being born, and in his early years. It was times where we had to send him away, like, and I don't mean send him away, but like we'll send him to his mama and papa because the light's about to get turned off. You know what I'm saying? Like we had bad situations like that. So he would have never known that the lights was turned off. They wouldn't have known the lights was turned off either. But if I say, hey, can you keep him for a few days? Usually it would be until one of us got paid to pay it. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, oh yeah, sure, we'll do that. So we was fortunate to have that. Um, but I just, it again, it goes back to people comparing and women tearing other people down because they're either jealous, envious, or don't agree with what you got going on and what you do. And I think that that's very unfortunate. Yeah, I might be able to get out and do a little more things with Nyla than I could have with Tristan, but I still have struggles as a mother. I still, and maybe struggles is not the right word, but it's still many things that I go through as a mother and many frustrations that I have as a mother, and it's still hard work. It's not easier for me because I get to take breaks. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. Um, and then your kids never leave your mind. Like it don't matter if I could be in the club living my best life, but in the back of my head, I'm wondering what my children are doing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not always fun. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes it makes you be like, well, I'm not even going to go out because all I'm going to be doing is thinking about the kids. And sometimes that's not fair to you because you have a right to enjoy life. And that's what I be trying to tell my husband. I love that he's a homebody. I love that he's not out there in the streets. It's a completely different situation from Tristan's dad. Tristan's dad was out in the streets all the time. You know what I'm saying? I love that my husband is like that. But I also believe that you have to take some time out for some self care and that you have to take some time out to have a good time with other people outside of your family, outside of being in the house with your children, because at some point in your life, you may resent the fact that you didn't get out and do stuff. or you may resent, regret, whatever, or you may start getting bored. And then when people get bored, they start doing shit that they shouldn't be doing. They go overboard when they get out there in the streets. So I just feel like to have a peace of mind, you have to be able to do some stuff for yourself and to, just have some self-care moments. There's this young lady that I know. She has always like dedicated her life to her husband and to her children, which you should do. You're supposed to do that. But every time, like, she'll get out and go to like lunches and stuff like that. But anytime you try to have her, invite her to anything else, a birthday party, to go out or anything like that, it was always, she would never be available to do it because she was just always up under her husband and kids all the time. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with that. But, I've known this young lady for years, and like she has so many moments where she's about to explode. And I just really feel like it's because she doesn't have like her own outlet. Like she doesn't get out there and do the things that she wants to do for herself. Like you can do things that you want to do for yourself that's not disrespectful to your husband and to your household. But then again, you never know somebody's situation, because maybe she doesn't have an easy going husband like my husband is. You know what I'm saying? Some men are controlling and possessive. I'm not in their business. I don't know their situation unless she tells me that, you know what I'm saying? So maybe he doesn't want her to get out there and do anything. I don't know, but I know that I can tell that it really affects her mental health. And if you're not mentally stable for yourself, in general, you're not going to be able to do anything for anybody else. But like I said, I don't want to hold y'all long today. I can babble on about some things if I want to. But I guess my point for today is, number one, women need to stop tearing other women down. We need to stop being so opinionated about other people's situations and what other people choose to do with their lives. You're not insecure because you choose to partake in this and partake in that. You are not less of a mother because you get breaks and somebody else doesn't. You should never feel guilty about that. But I do want to say that it is very important for you to get out there and do the things that you like, and not devote 100% of your time to your family. You have to leave some room for yourself. Otherwise, you will regret it, and it will start weighing on you in the end. And take it from me, it has happened to me early on. This year is the first year that I actually recognized that I have anxiety issues and I've had some bouts of depression. But this year has also been a great year for me, in being with my husband, getting married, and know that I have that support system from him and his family, and having some good friends and family in my life, my mom and my best friends and stuff. So again, self-care is extremely important. And that brings me to my affirmation for the day. And the affirmation that I have for today is, my self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and close this episode out. I would love to hear y'all feedback. You can email me at letsmom.b.podcast@gmail.com. You can send me a DM on Instagram at letsmombitch. I have a Facebook page at letsmombitch, and this a YouTube channel at Let's Mom Bitch, which this video will be posted to. Until next time, y'all have a good night.